Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you are new. I'm Manganet, I do book related content and sometimes not, and during the whole month of February, me and Holy Tash are publishing a new video every single day. How's it going everybody? Today we are starting a new reading vlog. This one is going to be quite challenging. Apparently there's this list online, Natasha found it, so if you have any questions ask her, but is 15 most common DNF'd books according to Goodreads users. We're gonna get one at random and read that, and it's gonna be horrible, I bet, because it's books that other people DNF'd and we're gonna attempt and read them. Oh god. And on this list, 15 books, there's a little bit of everything. There's some fantasy, there's some classics, I guess. There's some things that I don't even know what they are. Without any further delay, let's find out. I'm gonna ask Google to give me a random number. Google, pick a number between 1 and 15.
Here's a random number, 6.
Alright, so book number 6. I'll leave the link for this list on the description of the video if you know, go check it out. Number 6 is... I'm still scrolling. I can see 1 to 5 and then there's an ad. And number 6 is... No, what the hell? American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I'm not sure what this is, but this is like a classic, isn't it? American Gods, the 10th anniversary edition, a full cast production. And it's 19 hours and 36 minutes. If I listen to it in French, it's faster. What is this about? Do I even want to know? The definitive American road novel with over 1 million copies sold, an acclaimed Emmy-nominated TV series on Amazon Prime Video. After 3 years in prison, Shadow Moon is free to go home, but hours after his release, his beloved wife is killed in a freak accident. Numbly, he boards a plane where he meets an enigmatic stranger who seems to know Shadow and claim to be an ancient god and king of America. Together they embark on a profoundly strange road trip across the USA, encountering a kaleidoscopic cast of characters along the way. But all around them, a storm of unnatural proportions is gathering. War is coming, an epic struggle for the very soul of America, and Shadow is standing squartily in its path. Can we cancel this video? So I've been reading American Gods for the last 3 days, I think, and even though I'm a bit confused with the story because I'm not 100% sure what's going on, to be honest. I mean, I am following the narrative, I'm not confused with the narrative, I'm just confused with what's the plot, because I'm over 100 pages already into the book and I still don't understand where we're going with this story, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't understand what's the whole point of the story, like what's the narrative that we're following. I don't know, I'm very confused. We're following this guy called, he has a funny name, Thunder, I think it's Thunder. Shadow. He was in prison and then he just got released, and spoiler, skip the next few seconds, he was appealing to be released a little bit sooner than his sentence, but he got released even sooner than that, like a week before that, because his wife passed away. Now, while he was in prison, he was really excited to be released and go back to his wife, because they had all these plans of things they wanted to do together once he got released, and his wife passed away. And I felt like that was so sad. Then he goes back to his life and like the wife is not there. It's so sad. And then he gets involved with this guy called Wednesday, of all names, and I don't know, this Wednesday guy has some business going on and he's going to rob a bank at the moment. But I don't know, he kind of recruited Shadow to go and help him, but Shadow was like, I don't want to go back to prison, so I don't want to go do anything that it's illegal. Wednesday was like, don't worry, you're not going to do anything illegal, but come work with me. And now they're kind of in this road trip and they're staying in a hostel, and now they're meeting these Slovakians, Russians, Ukrainians maybe? Oh, I don't know. So they're staying in this hostel. No, not a hostel, they're staying in this people's house. It's a weird family, and every now and then in the book there's these little stories, like a new chapter that is a small story, but they are inside the chapter, because this chapter, like let's say chapter 5 is humongous, and at some point in the middle of chapter 5 the narrator changes, which by the way there's lots of narrators in this audiobook that I'm listening to because it's the 10-year special edition and apparently it's the only audiobook I could find. So the narrator changes and the story completely changes as well, and just tells us a story about something from the past. I think that one of them was about the gods, which makes sense, but the last one that I've heard, I'm not too sure what it was about. Some people that got to America, but I'm not sure if they were the gods or not. I'm a bit confused with this story. I feel that perhaps I'm not intelligent enough to follow along, but we shall carry on. So far it's not dreadful, which I assume it's a positive. In a very shocking plot twist of my life, I'm actually enjoying American Gods. I'm still a bit confused with the narrative and what's the point of the whole story. Like, what are we being told? I'm confused with that. It seems that the book has multiple little stories inside of different characters. The part that confuses me the most is the fact that they are all within the same chapter. The chapters are like 120 pages long. And within each chapter, there's multiple stories from different people. The stories don't seem to relate to each other. The people don't seem to relate to each other. We have the main narrative where we're following Shadow. That one keeps happening, obviously, but then in between, we get these people that are introduced to us out of nowhere. It's not like their story relates to the main narrative. It doesn't. It just starts out of nowhere. Like the next line on a story, it starts a new story. And we follow that for a few pages, and then their story is over, and up until now we've never gone back to any of those characters, which is annoying because those stories are really interesting, and I'm very curious to know what happened to those people after the little bit of events that we followed, and we don't get that ending. So everything is like a bunch of open endings. I feel like if you're someone who doesn't stand open endings in books, you're gonna absolutely hate this, because this is not even the ending, and we've been through already like 5 open endings. It's a bit frustrating, and it doesn't satisfy the curiosity in me. But like I was saying, I'm actually enjoying the book, and I feel like I'm finally understanding the whole relation with the gods. And I don't think I've ever told you, but in the beginning of the book, when the book gets introduced to us, it does say that this story is about America, but that all the places and people are fictioned, even though they might have been inspired by actual locations and actual people. The ones portrayed on the story are fictional, so everything is made up except the gods. Those are real. Straight away, when I read that, I was intrigued. It's not gods in the religious sense, which scared me a bit in the very beginning, because I was thinking he was gonna have some weird connection to religion, but it doesn't. But I feel like I'm finally understanding that. Gods are people who die, I guess. For some reason that I haven't yet discovered, Shadow is able to communicate with them, so he sees them and he hears them. They have conversations about things that happened, and they are kind of guiding Shadow through the events. This is all I have for you. This is like as much understanding as I can get from this story. But weirdly, even though I'm not 100% sure of what's happening, I'm still enjoying this, which probably just means that it's a very well written story and very well put together, because if you're lost but you still enjoy it and you still want to keep reading it, it must mean something, right? I've made the executive decision of DNFing one of the most DNF'd books of Goodreads. That's right, guys. Last night I was listening to the audiobook in bed, and I fell asleep while the audiobook was playing. Not asleep, but you know when you kind of doze off? So I missed maybe like 5 to 10 pages. Not that much, really. So I could technically just go back until the point where I remember and continue from there and continue reading the book. But this morning, when I was thinking about it, I realized that this book is never going to be more than a 3-star for me. I'm more than halfway through. I'm at like 57% or something, but I don't think it's going to be more than a 3 stars. I still have the same problem that I've mentioned a few times, which is I am kind of enjoying the story, but I don't see the point of it. And it's been like that since the beginning, and like I said, I'm more than halfway through and I still have that exact problem. So now I'm just questioning myself, what is even the point of reading a book that is not interesting me that much? I'm enjoying it, but I'm not loving it. I'm not having like the best time of my life. This is not my favorite book ever. When I say I'm enjoying it, it's more like I'm not hating it. And is that a good enough reason to continue reading a book? I don't think it is. Just because you're not hating something, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you should keep reading it. And I feel like in 2022, I want to be more specific with my reads. That doesn't mean read only the things that I have on my shelf, of course not. It means knowing when to let a book go so that it doesn't drag me onto a reading slump, or that it doesn't keep my time away from other things that I want to read and that I'll probably love. That is it. I'm going to DNF this book. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not doing anything much for me, and I've had my time with it. I've spent a few days with it, but for now, it's time to let go. If you have read American Gods, then please let me know what were your thoughts on the book. If you agree with what I say, of the story is not really going anywhere, or if the story is actually going somewhere and I'm the one who's not being able to realize that. So talk to me in the comments about that. I will still say it was not as bad and not as painful as I thought it could. So even though I'm DNFing the book, we're still winning. All of us are winners. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!